see that I will have to teach you how to be
happen if you hit the left button instead?
That one. Forged in the lockdown. Hello and welcome to Critical Questions, the Unfathomable quiz. I've trawled the internet for the best, worst, most interesting and ridiculous dumb questions I can find, and with any luck, my guests will be able to answer all of them. Shouldn't that be? No, it shouldn't be Patreon supporters. Sorry, no, it shouldn't be Patreon. It's Patron.
Patreon.
No! Patreon has patrons, and members are also patrons.
I'll get on with the bloody show, mate.
Yes, right. Crafty, I have lost Crafty. So if anyone else wants to jump in, you're welcome to. I'm on a yoga ball. Just a little bouncy one.
Boing. Boing.
Sound effects.
You're bouncing on your balls? What?
Bouncing on his ball, he popped one already.
Oh, jeez. I don't think they fixed that.
Right.
To quote Pale Blue Mama, get on with it.
No.
I'll find Manda and I'll get her in here to put you in your place if you're not careful. Or worse, I'll get student Dr. Ben to do doctory stuff again.
I'm wrong. It's my... What? No.
Come on, Dave. Get it together.
Come on, for goodness sakes. There's only so much filler I can put in here.
Dance. Right, okay, we'll do the first question. Then we
And maybe like expanding foam, but you know.
You haven't introduced us yet.
Oh, I haven't. Look, you see? Everyone's thrown me. I'm going to
Who the bloody
cry.
hell am I, Dave?
Right, today we have got with us some weird girl from down south, some weird guy from up north, and 2 weird Americans.
And who the bloody hell are you then?
I don't know where I come from.
Yeah, I'm literally right? Just chilling.
Just chilling.
Yeah. No proper introduction, no name tags. Anybody who's watching this who doesn't already know everyone's going to have no clue who we are.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You see, this is MathPig's fault. I really apologise for that. Let me fix that straight away. You know why that's MathPig's fault?
Because you
Because
said so.
everything's MathPig's fault.
No, he turns the names off on my account.
Oh.
Yeah, Math Pig.
Right, we have got... I was thinking it was odd that there were no names, and then I didn't really twig. Right, we're going to say... we have got Phoebe J. Sauna Lady. Wave. We've got Dog.
I'm wagging my tongue.
We've got Jenny Still Hurting. And we've got Purple Rhymes with Orange. Hello?
Say something.
Hello.
Thank you.
Right.
Some
Should
of
we
us
do
don't
question?
have until eternity to get through this game show tonight.
Have you not been here before?
No, I'm semi-regular on here. That's the problem. I know what I'm in for.
Right, would you like the first question?
Oh boy.
Oh boy, it's a good one. First one to who wants to be the first one to answer before I reveal it?
I want to hear the bloody question first. Get on with it.
Can I just give you all my answers?
Go on. What's
Yes,
your first
no.
answer?
Second answer, your mum. Third answer is going to be a wedding. Fourth answer, flying cars. And fifth answer, my penis. Done.
Wait there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not a good answer. Right. Question 1556. What is your least favourite type of curtain?
Curtain?
Curtains.
Jeez.
What? Say again, Dog?
Or as you Americans call them, drapes.
No, we call them curtains.
Well, I think my least favorite type of curtain is iron.
Ah.
Yeah. I didn't care for the iron curtain.
I'm not a big fan of Jane Curtin,
Who's Jane Curtin?
comedian.
An American comedian?
One of the Saturday Night Live originals.
Yep.
Lone Wanderer says muff.
Muff Curtin.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Curtain muff?
I'm looking in.
Yeah.
I'm going to say feet.
Okay.
Well, it depends on how much it hangs out, I guess.
Can we include blinds?
Sure.
Yeah, well, Venetian blinds are crap.
Venetian blinds are crap. Natasha says Cobain. Fair enough. Nathaniel says blonde/brunette.
I think people are misinterpreting what we mean by curtain.
I think they're intentionally misinterpreting. Enohara says iron, beef, and velvet.
I thought that was kind of the point of this, was to see how badly you can misinterpret the
It
question.
very often is.
There is a point to it, but sometimes it's just like, that doesn't even translate, so I don't actually know where you're coming from with your misinterpretation here. It's actually got to be relatable back to what the actual question is, so that we can actually get the joke.
Yeah. You don't get to force your definitions on me, says Nathaniel.
I'm also going to change my answer to the curtains in a Catholic confessional because you're alone there with a child molester.
But at least you can run with a curtain.
I don't like the final curtain. Very final, very ending. I don't like the end. That's the final curtain. You also normally get some, as they say in the saying, some fat lady singing before you get the final curtain. And, you know,
Me, that's me.
That's,
I far prefer to listen to
Can you
the
sing?
singing than to have the final curtain. But that's just me.
oh, I'm too hot. I'm surprised that no one on the panel gave beef curtains.
Dave, you're good looking, but I don't know if I'd call you hot.
That was too easy, Dave. I was
It was
looking
too
at
easy.
I see a chap for beef curtains, and it did crop up.
It cropped up once in the chat. I am really. See, I can't stand net curtains, which is where this question came from. I was surprised no one else said that. Does everyone else love net curtains?
Are you
What?
classist?
Am I classist?
You don't. I'm just thinking about a shower
Because
curtain.
net curtains, if you oppose net curtains, I could quite easily say that you are opposing net curtains because you have something against council estates.
Ooh, my name's Dave, and I live in the Wirral. Curtains are for middle class scum.
Yeah, everyone here has net curtains. There are fucking net curtains in my house, which is why I hate them.
You do realise you have a choice as to what kind of curtains you have up in your house.
No, the landlord has decided that that's what they are.
That is one of the weirdest things I think I've heard written into a tenancy agreement, which you must have net curtains.
Oh, it's not in the
because that
tenancy
seems to be-
agreement. It's just that there are things we can change and there are things we can't, and the net curtains are on the list of things we can't.
What are
Really?
net curtains?
What? Do you not have net
Net.
curtains?
Net NET?
Yeah.
Muslin.
What?
Oh, okay, all right. We don't call it net, but muslin. I get that.
See-through
I
curtains.
am confused by the idea that your landlord will not allow you to change your own curtains.
Yes, this is what's getting me.
Any
As a
apartment
former
I have
housing
moved-
officer, I am particularly concerned by this being one of those ridiculous nonsense clauses that wouldn't be held up in court.
Well, any apartment I have lived in, there were no curtains when I moved in. I had to get my own.
I think I'm in a similar situation to you, Phoebe, as to who my landlord is.
You're
could
assuming
be
I have a
wrong.
landlord.
An effective. Let's go that way. I could be wrong.
I have no idea what on earth you're prattling on about, mate. You're going to have to be a little
I'll
less
tell you later.
Fair enough. One of those secret things that chat doesn't get to know, and only I get to know, apparently. So
No.
I
everyone-
apologise to the
most
viewers
people
and
can
the
get to know.
listeners of this.
And the worst thing is most people already know. They've just all forgotten. What the hell is a curtain lord? And now they want my thing. I'm going to the next question. I'm going to save myself.
Yeah,
You're in the Northwest, though. Why don't you just use newspaper like the rest of them Muppets up there?
That's the other half of Wirral.
magazines are more colorful.
What?
Magazines. You tape magazine pages together and make.
Hello, Crafty.
Hello.
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 You alright?
Hello.
Least favourite
How's
type
it
of
going?
curtain. Go.
I'm going to agree with Dave there with the neck curtains. They are
Thank you.
Next question,
Nightmare.
please.
they are a nightmare, and I have the same issue with my landlords.
Yeah.
Are we
Neck
talking?
curtains, really.
Are we talking Irish law here, or are we talking, UK law here?
We're not talking law.
No, it's just a thing. It's
Yeah.
just a thing.
Rental agreement.
It's not even in the rental agreements.
No.
It's just there.
It's an addendum.
Right. So when I moved in, there was these like horrible blinds on so I have one window in my bedroom. That's it, because it's a little apartment, and then I have like two doors, the Phoenician doors, kind of thing. And so they got these blinds that just like the roller blinds, and they're horrible. They just don't stay where they're supposed to. And when I moved in, what they did was they put up these net curtains to give me privacy if I want to open the doors in order to get any air in my house or in my apartment.
So it's
They
across
live
your
next-
door.
Yeah. It's a
Are the-
fucking nightmare. Have you any idea what it's like to struggle with a bike trying to get
Through a
through
net, through a net curtain. Oh, it's hell. It's pure hell.
Yeah, so you get it. You get it. And I apologize for being late. I did fall asleep after work. I was exhausted.
I do have to say that I did when I lived in a Victorian converted house that was into flats. I did have to have a door curtain, one of the big thick ones, to actually keep some warmth in the place in winter.
We've actually got that problem. Our front door is this lovely arched door, like this, shaped like that. But it never seals at all.
Oh, that would be a nightmare. Oh, no. No.
I think we've exhausted this question to death, Dave.
Do you? That's good.
You don't understand the struggle. You don't understand the struggle.
No. Right, next question. Question 1557. Given the ridiculousness of asking an interviewee what their biggest weakness is, how would you recommend answering?
Say again?
What kind of interview are we going at here? Are we asking like a Terry Wogan style interview?
A
like
job
Ian
interview.
McKellen?
A job
interview.
A job interview.
So what's your biggest weakness then? Sitting here listening to drivel like that coming out of your mouth.
But Don,
I'm sorry, I can't keep my mouth shut because you just talk shite, so therefore that's a weakness of mine. Sorry.
Dawn Arpet says, I tend to murder people who interview me. Nathaniel says, being too humble. See, it's very tempting to humble brag. But that tends to be looked down upon if you can't give a genuine weakness. Lone says, have to sit here and listen to this.
How would we recommend answering? How do I answer that? I hate that question. What's your biggest weakness? No, I'm not. I did go into an interview once and say I'm kind of a hermit. Because I had to go in. I don't know if any of you understand what it's like to be on the dole. But it sucks.
Depends which country you're on the dole on. If you're on the dole in the UK, not so much. If you're on the dole in America, if you're on the dole in Ireland,
no, right.
If you're on the dole in France.
So in Ireland, if you're on the dole for longer than like 2-3 months, they start sending you for interviews. You don't give a shit what the position is. They just hand you a load of interviews that you have to go, or you'll lose your dole. You have to at least go for the interview.
Yeah.
So
they play that game here too.
Yeah, I started getting. There were some that you just really, really, really didn't want to do, and yeah, one of my answers was, I'm a workaholic hermit. I don't want to talk to people, but I'll work. I just don't want to talk to people. Get aggressive with not wanting to talk to people. And you should have just seen the interviewer like, okay, no. Like, ended the interview like right there. I was like, okay, bye.
No. I had an answer that would definitely end the interview right there.
Go on.
I would answer. I'm too submissive to tell somebody when they have asked a completely stupid question.
Fair enough.
Well, that's kind of a more polite version of mine. I was just going to say that my biggest weakness is I have no patience for insufferable gits asking stupid questions.
Yeah.
Luhan says, my biggest weakness is I take the jobs from interviewers who ask me stupid questions. And Eno Hare says, I always look down on people who ask me stupid questions.
I think we're in agreement here.
Well, I think we finally found the one question that the whole panel is on consensus about. Asking that question is a nonsense, and we're all just going to say our biggest weakness is this question is a nonsense.
Well, here's the thing. So I've been in, I've worked since I was 12, 13. And part of that was
can't be much beyond 16.
Yeah, I'm a baby. I'm 30. I'm 33. So
you're not the youngest person on this panel.
Hmm?
You're not the youngest person on this panel.
Oh, okay,
Half
grand.
of my age.
So part of that, a large part of that was in supervisory roles and management roles. So then when I went back to university, because I'd already been in management roles or supervisory roles, when I went for interviews or whatever, I tended to flip the interview. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I went in.
It's easy for me to do.
Yeah, I went into an interview once with a toy shop, right? And it was opening up in the area that I grew up in or whatever. I was in second year in university. I'd already been a manager. I'd ran a whole Munster operation by that point of one group. So I wasn't really intimidated anymore by the idea of interviews. So I went in, they were like, why should we choose you? Which is the most ridiculous question you can ever ask someone. Like, well, why should we give the job to you? And I flipped it on them. I says, well, why should I choose you to work for? Difference is I'd done my homework on this particular group, on the owners. Because like Solo Check and stuff like that, you can actually go and investigate who you're going to work for. I was like,
house in England.
Yeah. And I was like, the people who own this group have had 4 failed businesses in the last 10 years. Why should I actually come to you to work if you can't keep your doors open for longer than 18 months? What's the game plan?
Did you get the job?
I did get the job. Right? Wait. Not only did I get the job, within 4 months, I was made the manager of the store while in college.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
Did they go bust in 18 months?
Yeah, they did.
Now, see,
Do you know why?
Eyes wide open with that one.
So they came into this place and they didn't understand that they were opening in like a proper working class area. Like where I'm from is so fucking working class, it's ridiculous. And the prices of the toys were like 5 times dearer than Smith's right down the road. And that's what I said to them in the interview. I says, if you're coming into my area, if you're walking in my door and telling people that they're going to be paying 50 quid for something that's like 15 down the road, you're going to go bust. Did they listen? Did they fuck? And what happened? They closed their doors. 18 months later, I got a fucking nice pay packet for it.
Eyes wide open with that one, then.
Hell yeah. You have to be. So,
See, me, I would take a total ridiculous question like that and just answer with a ridiculous answer. I think something like, I suffer terrible with anal lesions. It's driving me insane. I don't shoot trees.
I can't sit.
I'm surprised nobody has said, what's your biggest weakness? Bladder weakness.
What's your biggest weakness? Spiders.
Heights.
My aunt is a cleaner, right? One of my aunts is a cleaner for one of the big stores or supermarkets, like, and she actually, if she sees like a dot of a spider, she will run and scream like there's a fire.
That's the right response.
No, it's not.
No,
Yes,
it's
it is.
not.
Yes, it is. That is the correct response to a spider.
No, it's not. Not when you work in a fucking supermarket.
No, that's the correct response. Full stop.
No.
I mean,
it seems that being a cleaner is not a good occupation if you have that kind of reaction to spiders.
Right?
So someone I knew growing up. You think a cleaner's bad? Okay. Someone I knew growing up who was more afraid of spiders than I am was a plumber.
Oh, jeez.
I couldn't think of a worse job
Yeah.
for someone that's terrified of spiders.
Yeah.
The correct response is to go, oh, could somebody do something with that spider and then calmly leave the room?
No.
You run out screaming.
All this little
She
girl
ran.
screaming and stuff is just not necessary.
She ran through the entire supermarket screaming her head off because there was a dot of a spider somewhere.
Oh, God.
Do you know what?
Did they
You know what's
got
even
an
worse?
egg
It wasn't even a spider.
Well, spiders
Well,
aren't what
they're not
scare me
unified.
most.
Are they not?
A door spider
Heights are.
section.
Heights. Grounds scare me more than heights.
Coffee
Are
ground?
you-
Coffee grounds.
Coffee grounds scare you, do they? You said ground scare you. I have to work out what kind of grounds it is. Is it coffee
The ground's
grounds?
hurtling towards you at high speed.
See, I went up the monument in London once. For those of you who aren't aware what the monument is by Monument Station, and it is a monument to the Great Fire of London, and it used to be the tallest building in London in like the 1700s. And it's all fenced in and very, very safe. You couldn't get me to go anywhere near the side of it. When I go on the London Eye, I've been on it twice, petrified till giddy up.
Really?
Legs go weak. I just can't do it. I just cannot do anything off of terra firma. But put me in an aircraft, I'll happily fly anywhere.
I didn't mind the London Eye. I thought the London Eye was quite... I think that's how good my footing is. But my issue with heights tends to be footing. I can't go on a roller coaster, apart from a couple. I can go on Nemesis, which I find really weird. And I think it's to do with my legs, not rather than my head. I don't know. Anyway, what's your answer to the question, Phoebe?
What was the question in the first place?
What would you recommend somebody answering to what is your biggest weakness?
Being polite to interviewers like you, asking stupid questions like that.
Jenny?
I would say my triceps. I would recommend to somebody that they answer the question and attempt to be honest about it. But if they don't like it, like most people, make it a very short but polite answer.
Well, now see, it depends on why you're at the interview, you know, of whether you actually want the job or, like we were saying earlier, if it's just to fill the quota because you're on unemployment.
Well, yeah.
You know, in which case, yeah, you have to go to a certain number of interviews every week. Nothing says you can't show up with such a lousy attitude that no one would ever hire you.
Can you get away with that in the UK?
Yes. They also deemed in the UK those systems of sending people to interviews was illegal. They also ruled that getting people to do work for welfare was also illegal. It was a violation of Article 8.
What's really ridiculous in the States is that they send people for these required interviews who are on disability and can't work.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if they already can't work, why are you wasting everybody's time and efforts with sending them on?
Because they have to waste their time. They literally have to waste their time so they can't do anything else.
Yeah.
That is their logic. Right, next question.
Thank goodness for that.
That's just not a good question. Question 1558. Have you ever slept with someone you didn't really want to? In brackets,
Yeah.
not forced / so coerced.
Oh. If it's
I think
not...
this is going to get a one-word answer from me. Yes, and that's all I'm saying. Next.
I've woke up with women that I realised I didn't really want to sleep with them.
But at the time, did you?
Well, I was usually drunk, but I know I solved that. I used to go to bed with a quarter bottle of vodka under the pillow, drink that down before I looked at her, and hey, presto, woken up with Claudia Schiffer.
So you just made sure you weren't sober in the morning.
Exactly.
African Humanist said yes. Doorknob Head says myself. Jenny?
I'm counting.
You're counting. Uhan says a fair amount of times. Han said nope, 43-year-old virgin here. That's
I would say on 4 different occasions.
4 different occasions. Nerdy says, I slept with Dave on YouTube in the background. I don't want to sleep, but it was too hot.
Actually, it would be 4 different people on about 6 or 7 different cases.
24 different times?
No. Like couple of the people were
4 different people, 6 different times each. Oh my goodness! I would have thought you would have learned after like the first one. Don't do that again.
Were
Hang
you
on a
married?
No, it was like two or three times with a couple of people.
Nathaniel says, "Yup, got the job though."
Who's he? Patsy Stone?
Ed O'Hara says, "Yes, sometimes a sympathy hump, other times was to avoid sleeping with an ex." Theo says, "I once slept with someone I regretted afterwards." So you don't want to know my numbers. Purple.
Well, I think, everybody at some point has one that they regretted afterwards. I mean, I have had entire relationships that I regretted afterwards.
Yes. That doesn't answer the question, though. It's the question is really, did you sleep with them going into it? Yes.
Well, probably not literally slept with, but as far as, having sex with, there were a couple.
Crafty?
I like the fact that, and kudos to you for putting in that it wasn't, if it's not forced or coerced, but other than that, no. Should there have been people that I slept with that probably I shouldn't have? Absolutely. But that I didn't want to, or that I kind of regretted afterwards, no.
Yeah.
I don't tend to regret things, and I'm very careful with what I do. If I'm going to do it, then I'm going to do it
enthusiastically.
Yeah. Pretty much.
My regret wasn't for myself. My regret was that I misled that person, and then I did that for my own carnal pleasures, and just should not have done that.
Since when
So
did
you've
this
never just
become
done
an
it out of
episode Jerry
sympathy?
Springer.
Well,
You've never done it out of sympathy for someone.
I can sympathize with Jenny. But I've always been very upfront with my sexual partners. I'm not interested in a relationship. If you get too needy, fuck off. And I've gotten those people that have started off cool and then they've gotten too needy and I've just dropped contact completely. Fuck off.
See, for me, I was willing to do that kind of crap because I was desperately trying to prove that I wasn't trans.
Understandable.
And I failed, by the way.
Right. Next question, I think.
Dave,
Question.
you answer.
Good as good as. Question.
Is that an answer?
Yes.
There we go. He's just said it, so let's let him off.
Right.
Question 1559.
You didn't answer that one, Dave.
I
Yes,
did.
you did.
I
You
did.
just did. That was the point of it.
All right. I'm sorry.
Question 1559. Excluding white, what colour do you associate with winter?
Red. Green.
Gray.
Grey.
Grey.
Brown,
Grey.
Brown.
yellow.
There are colors in winter.
Colours of fire.
Colours of fire, so red.
Infrared, UV.
Uhan, red. African humanist, blue. I'm intrigued by blue. Doc, yellow with a wink. God, red because it's Santa. Uhan says pink. Dornaped says excluding white, that's awkward. Ox says
Yeah,
yellow,
that's
the
not
colour
racist.
of the snowmobile I had in New York. Hands, yellow.
We don't really do white in the UK because we don't do snow in the UK.
Yeah,
do
we get grey. We get
occasionally.
grey clouds, and that's it.
You get grey and you get transparent because you get all the rain, and you might get like 15 seconds of snow, but then it will just be slush and ice, and that'll be it.
We've had a few years where it's just gone to ice. We've had weeks of it being just ice.
You mean there's places in the northern hemisphere that don't get snow?
Yeah,
Well, we have the Gulf Stream. The Gulf
We-
Stream prevents us, and
we
we're
don't-
islands as well.
we
get
don't
wind.
get snow. We don't get snow until March.
No.
Well, true that, Late
Well,
February,
it
early
goes
March,
back
we
to
get
that
snow.
thing about too much coastline. Coastal regions generally just don't get much snow.
We don't. Where I am, I don't generally tend to get frost either.
The first
Where I am.
time I saw snow for the first time on our beach in the last few years. The beach normally doesn't get any on it, even if we get snow.
No, I still want to move there. Then I'm tired of 4 to 6 feet of snow.
I would love 4 to 6 foot of snow. I want to.
Oh,
Snow.
you really
Why
don't.
do you all shovel snow? We have snow, and no one shovels snow.
You have to if you want to. If you want to do anything, like go to the grocery store, however minor you want, you better shovel snow.
Yeah.
Don't have a choice.
We're in Minnesota where 2 or 3 times a year we get a storm that dumps more than a foot of snow in one day.
A foot of
Don't
snow
live in
sounds
Minnesota
lovely.
then.
Yeah.
Can I make the point that Britain and Ireland will see more snow? We will see more snow. Thank you,
So all this
global warming.
that people are talking about and saying that it's going to cause warmer temperatures everywhere, that's not actually, strictly speaking, a correlation for the British Isles, because if the Gulf Stream moves, you'll get a lot bloody colder.
Yes, but if you look at the oceanic research, the Gulf Stream is getting narrower and it's not going as far. So we will get that colder weather.
And that's mostly being caused by the melting in the Arctic and Siberia, that all the cold water is dumping in, and it's sinks to the bottom and it goes south.
It's okay, lads. It's okay. Scotland will be the first to get it, so Tusk will be the first to get snow.
Yeah, but don't forget that Scotland is also geared up to dealing with the cold.
No,
the
no,
South shuts.
Tusk couldn't deal with snow if his life depended on it. Like,
Well, what I've already noticed here is that over the last 10 years we have been getting progressively less snow.
I'm hoping we get more. Much more.
This last winter, we got a total of less than 2 feet of snow, and where I live, they consider the average to be close to 4 feet.
Oh, see, we got
It's an average for a reason, because it will go above and it will go below. If it was always above average, then the average would move up.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't expect it to be only half the average. You don't expect it to drop off that sharply in 1 year.
But you're only talking about...
Here you go, Tusk. We run outside.
60 centimetres.
We run
It's
outside.
not that much.
We run outside and headbutt the snow until it stops falling.
Can I just say, right? So people should sub to Tusk, because he's been doing these like little cycles around Scotland, and I really, really, really want to see when the big freezes hit. If we do get snow, I want to see Tusk trying to cycle up a hill through the snow, because it'll be hilarious.
Tusk says in the chat, everyone should sub to him.
See, yeah. They do that here too. They have snow tires on their bicycles and wear plenty of clothes.
Bye. Hi.
What colour is amniotic fluid?
What? How is that related?
Where's student Dr. Ben when you need him? Where's student Dr. Ben?
Baby Jesus was born on Christmas Day, so I'm going with that.
The colour of amniotic fluid.
Primarily clear.
I have no personal knowledge of this fact. So
well, why not?
Because student Dr. Ben hasn't told me.
I've got a feeling it was probably brown. I reckon Jesus pooped in the womb.
I think this question may have devolved off topic slightly, and I think it may require coming back to reality.
Right, next question.
Oh, snap back to reality.
It's clear, by the way.
What?
It's clear, by the way.
It's clear.
Yeah, I'm probably the only one who can say that for fact. Well, yeah.
You're not the only one who can say it for a fact. You're the only one who knows this fact.
Okay. No, because I used to own goats, and so part of owning
how do we know
goats,
this human amniotic fluid is the same colour?
Yeah. Is there no blood in it?
I had a friend whose water broke on my feet. So
if there's blood,
it's pretty clear.
If there's blood in your embryonic fluid, then that's the time to panic.
Yeah.
Because usually the umbilical cord has ruptured.
Or something else has happened internally.
Yeah, that's not
Mucky
good.
and brown.
Anyway.
You could have a hematoma in there or something.
Right,
that
this
may
has
have
got
ruptured.
nothing to do with the lovely crisp colour of fucking winter. Right.
Oh yeah, that was the question. Sorry.
I would actually still go with green because every place I've lived has been pine forest.
Amniotic fluid green.
I think we may have exhausted this
Yes,
question.
the amniotic fluid from a pine tree is green.
You know,
Syrup.
yeah, you know when we've gotten to this point, it's time to move the fuck on.
Right, next question.
Well, Mary's amniotic fluid.
Oh, shut up, will you?
A neon.
A neon what?
Shut
Neon
up.
pink that had a glow to it.
Do you live near Sellafield?
Dungeness. Sizewell. For those of you unfamiliar, those are nuclear reactors in England.
Yes.
Nerdy says red because Sandy says a bright sky blue.
God, the good one says the correct answer is red.
Has anyone considered how much it sucked for Mary that she had to go through the pain of childbirth and never even had the pleasure of having sex?
Yeah, I mean, if she was...
I'm more, no, wait.
Or-
I'm more bothered by the number of Christian women that have grown up and got married and given birth and never had an orgasm.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's far more common.
I'd have more sympathy.
Okay. We have deviated round the bend now. This has completely and utterly devolved into nonsense. But that's what I'm doing it. But it's devolved into nonsense even by the standards of this show.
Have you ever been on this show? It always devolves into nonsense.
As I
And just
said,
to say,
this has devolved into nonsense even for the standards of this show.
I've seen worse. And just to say, I would have more sympathy with Mary if she wasn't a fictional character. But okay.
Yeah.
You know, Mary was in a manger. After the birth, supposedly. You know, and
Mary was in the manger.
There was all those very useful.
How did we get onto
We don't really know.
the discussion of Christian religion here?
Winter and Christmas. There is
How
a
do we get
connection.
onto any subject? Yeah.
She got licked by a goat.
Yeah.
Donophead says this evolved into nonsense, not devolved.
Here, here.
No, this was nonsense to start with. We just unpackaged it.
Next question. Question 1560. If you knew a parent was knowingly making a child sick, would you say anything or stay out of their business?
I'm required by law to say something as a result of my profession.
Yeah,
If it
that
wasn't-
would be a case that you have to call child services.
That is a non-question.
It's a non-question.
As a result of my job, even when I'm not on duty, if I
Yeah,
encounter something like that, I'm
assuming
required
that
by law
wasn't-
to make a report.
But what if you didn't have that job and in that situation? Would you do
You-
it?
But I'm
you
sorry,
have-
I'm coloured by the fact that I've got this job. I'm
What would you have
coloured
done
by
10
that
years
fact.
ago?
You have a moral obligation if someone is making a child sick to intervene. It doesn't matter. Someone has to be the spokesperson for that child because they can't be their own spokesperson. That is a non-question. I am angry at this question.
And even if
For the avoidance of doubt,
she'd
Before
be
I did my
required-
current job
Yeah,
as a social worker,
yeah.
I would still have made the report.
Yes.
Dog?
Yeah, I don't know what was kind of sick are we talking about? I mean, you mean ill medically or teaching them Jesus?
The question is ambiguous.
The question is not ambiguous.
Tusk
Teaching them
says,
religion, let them get on with it, and we'll sort them out later. If it's making them ill, then yeah, it is an obligation. You need to report it. Especially
Tusk
if you're
says-
classified as human.
fair enough. Tusk says, well, it depends if the child is the one little bollock that ran out in front of me the other day, then no, fuck him.
No, Tusk.
No,
bad
I'm sorry.
Tusk.
I'm going to intervene here
Bad
and say I am not going to put my name to anything that condones any form of neglect or child abuse in any way, shape, or form.
He's not neglecting them. He's just ignoring them.
But he has just advocated that because they've done something negative to him, that negative things are quite fine to happen to that child.
No, he's not. He is not saying they're fine. He's just saying he doesn't care.
You don't understand Tusk. Tusk is an ass.
Not having met the person, I am in this situation.
He's trolling. He is trolling.
He is
They
trying.
may well be
because-
trolling,
No.
but I have a professional hat on here now, so unfortunately my answers are going to be a bit narrower than they would normally be otherwise.
Yes. But he is trolling. He is trolling because he would absolutely. He wouldn't just intervene. He would kick the shite out of the parents. Like
Tusk says, "I am at best ambivalent." African Humanist says, "Knowing what I know now, yes, I would report it." Ox says, "I've done 60 days for beating up a guy for hurting his kid in a Walmart parking lot. Does that count?" Yeah, pretty much.
Why were you in a Walmart parking lot? You should get 60 days in jail just for that.
God says, "Is the child a little bastard?"
doesn't matter.
Not
You can't.
applicable.
Here's the thing. You cannot hold children to the same standard as you would hold an adult. If the child needs someone to step in and intervene on their behalf because they can't do it themselves, it is your moral obligation as a member of society. If you want to remain in this society, follow the rules of society or get the fuck out.
A lot of people don't want to. Jenny,
Well, then get the fuck out.
where'd you go?
Precisely.
You can't.
My answer would be immediately, without regret.
Here.
There are lots of people that disagree with all of you.
Well, then get the fuck
Good for
out.
them. They can disagree with me, and I'll still agree with me.
Well, at least we have, 6 people who would be willing to intervene on behalf of a child that is suffering. That's okay.
It doesn't say the child's suffering.
If they're being made sick by the parents, then they are suffering. Because being sick
there
is
is an
suffering.
element of suffering there. Because if the child is making you sick, it may not be physical suffering, but there is emotional suffering going on there. There is psychological suffering
Right,
going on there.
then we get on to teaching them that they're going to burn in hell.
Munchausen's by proxy.
What are you talking about with this? Why has this got to be
Hang
brought
on.
back to, quote, burning in hell?
Hold on,
This
hold
is a
on,
much
hold on.
simpler situation than is being made out by
You
Dave.
said it could be causing psychological harm.
No, sorry. If a child is being made sick by a parent and the child then knows that they were made deliberately sick by a parent, that will cause psychological and or emotional harm to the child because it breaks down the fundamental bond between the parent and the child where there should be trust from the child to the parent. And that damage is severe when it is done.
Tusk says, "You can't hold children to the same standard as an adult, but if you hold them over a waterfall, you get shouted at."
If you hold an adult over a waterfall, you get shouted at anyway. Tusk, stop holding people over waterfalls.
Go on, Doc. Sorry I interrupted you.
I was going to say I'm an abused child. I just thought it was normal.
Yeah.
But that was my life.
That's the problem.
It
But
is.
it's still not, it's still abusive.
Remember that incident with Michael Jackson holding his kid by the feet over a balcony?
No, he held him under the arms, and he kind of
Could
fell.
have been busted instantly on that. That was just so totally inappropriate.
Yeah. Demon Orb says, "What if it's Ginger?"
There's exceptions to every
I'm
rule.
not taking the bait.
I had to try to say that with a straight
Don't do it,
face.
baby. Don't do it.
The social worker in me is getting increasingly professionally upset right now.
Yep.
Right, next question.
Thank you.
Yep.
Right. Question 1561. Would you trust your best friend to perform electrolysis on your face?
No. Absolutely not. If you met my best friend, you would understand.
As somebody who regularly undergoes electrolysis, yes, I
Great
would.
question.
Because electrolysis itself isn't a dangerous procedure. It's just perceived to be a dangerous procedure.
It
The
is in the
needle is
hands of my
tiny.
mates.
The needle is tiny. The needle will bend before any damage is done. The electrical current is negligible. So, Yeah, I've got no problem with it.
Well,
Absolutely no problem
there
with it.
is the potential for scarring if it's not done properly.
Well, yeah, but the risk of the scarring is minimal. If you were doing it in such a way that was causing scarring, then I'd be a bit less inclined to let you carry on. But I wouldn't have an objection to you starting doing it.
Right, Nerdy says, no, I don't have a best friend. Ox says, fuck no. Uhan says, yes. Nathaniel says, the question assumes I have friends. You have at least
The question
one.
also assumes people know what electrolysis is.
My best friend is a goat. I wouldn't trust.
Your best friend is a goat. They could hold the device in their mouth and poke randomly.
Have you not seen the Spot the Goat thing on my show?
Is that your friend?
That's my best friend.
I think Phobe has a point that, some people may not be aware of what the procedure for electrolysis involves.
Well, I wouldn't
Take it
even
away,
trust my
Dave. Take it away. It's your question.
TV remote control.
Would you? Hang
Right.
on. Would you, Dave, trust your best friends with any procedure regarding your face? Any procedure. Any.
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, look at his face. Sorry, Dave. It was too easy. I had to.
Ouch.
Sandy says, fuck no, stay away from my face. Yandiri says, hell no. Tusk says, my best friend is a drug-crazed biker, so no, probably not. God says, no chance my best friend is a cat. Theo says, how can you perform electrolysis in someone's face that's happening in liquid? Right, someone explain what electrolysis is to Theo.
It's your question.
Yeah, I never explained.
Yeah, but it's your question.
Okay. Electrolysis for hair removal is a process of poking a very tiny needle into the hair follicle to basically cook the root of the hair so it won't grow back. So for somebody performing electrolysis would be stabbing your face with a tiny needle several hundred times.
Are you talking about thermolysis
Thousand.
or electrolysis?
So an electrolysis needle is typically between 1 millimeter and 1.5 millimeters wide, and it's typically about 4 millimeters deep, and the electrical current is negligible, and it is just...
Yeah, the needle literally has to be just the size of a human hair in order to be able to get down into the follicle.
In electrolysis, the probe is an anode, and then you have a grounding strap, basically. And
some of the more modern machines don't have that grounding
It
strap
depends
anymore.
on the type of electrolysis.
Now you're talking thermolysis that is using heat.
No.
The
No,
electrolysis does create heat, but it depends on the galvanic action.
The galvanic's the one that converts it to lye and then kills it that way.
Exactly, and it will actually.
You're talking about galvanic
kill some of them-
electrolysis.
It will actually kill some of them around the source of the probe, which is why some people prefer it in terms of its effectiveness.
I've had electrolysis where I've been told to hold a probe, and I've had electrolysis where there is no probe being held, and it's both electrolysis.
Yeah.
Not
I'm sure it's
thermolysis.
meant. I may have missed something there. I thought
And
it was the
whichever
person
type-
doing it that had to hold the probe, but I could be
It
wrong.
sucks.
It sucks.
I'm going
No,
to
it's
say,
fine. I fall asleep during it. I just relax and fall asleep through it.
Oh,
I've
you're
fucked
lucky.
my friend. I wouldn't even let a professional doctor go near me if that's what it is.
You wouldn't let a professional doctor go near you.
I would have to say that, yes, I would trust my best friend to do it. She would not trust herself to do it.
Mm-hmm. Granny says, no, I
She
wouldn't
would
trust
be
my
more
best friend
nervous
with that.
about it than I would be.
Yeah. You
Then
asked
again,
her.
I do. But the reason I'm saying blasé about it is because they have a nonsensically high pain threshold. I mean, when I have facial electrolysis done, I generally just relax and fall asleep whilst the procedure's being done.
It also depends on the region of the face they're doing. Some regions are fairly not painful, and some are excruciating.
Under here is the
That-
most painful because it's
that's
got
one
the
of those
highest
bad ones.
concentration of nerve endings.
Yeah,
And it
I would
does
think
make
the
my
closer
nose
you
run, it
are,
does make me sneeze as well because
Yeah.
you're stimulating the nerves.
I think in general, the closer you are to the lips, the more sensitive it's going to be.
And O'Hare says, use a laser, it's more fun.
Laser doesn't work for everybody. Laser depends on the pigmentation of your hair for it to actually work. So lighter skins with darker hairs work very well, and darker hairs with darker skins doesn't work very well, and lighter hair with lighter skin doesn't work very well. You need a good contrast.
Yeah, you basically need the hair to be darker than the skin tone, or it's not going to have any effect.
Yep.
Nerdy says, I've lost what Nerdy actually says word for word. What about anal electrolysis? Apparently it hurts doing your ankle more. That's what Arden said. And not Arden,
the people who have
Jenna,
electrolysis on their nipples.
Jen Ives said.
I've never gotten it done at all. I've never gotten electrolysis, so I wouldn't know. Still wouldn't trust my best friend with it. No.
I haven't had the electrolysis done, but, you know, I've had enough time of tweezing, of plucking hairs out to have an idea of which areas it's more sensitive than others.
Plucking is the painless part of it. Plucking is no big deal.
Yeah, but how does
with
normal
the electrolysis,
plucking compare?
but I mean, if you're just plucking hairs out without any kind of other treatment, you feel it.
It hardly at all. Well, at least I don't. I see people cringing all the time about their eyebrows getting plucked, and it's like, I don't
Right,
even
Jenny,
feel it.
did you answer?
The number
No, I
of people
didn't
that I
have-
see that go in
I
to
would-
have electrolysis that are slathered in Emla cream, and it's just like, really? You spent a lot of money getting Emla cream, and it's like, and they see me go in there with like nothing on my face, and I just go, so what? No flinching, just, you know, nice relaxing sleep.
I have two people I consider my best friends for the purpose of this question, and I would trust their intent, but I would not trust their very shaky hands.
Tusk says, can I try it on you, Keeler? If I let you try it on me when we're pissed and out of our tiny little minds.
No, because Barman will be there with a camera fucking recording it all. Or Taddy will be, so no. No, that will not be happening.
Also, just for everyone who's in the UK, and particularly in England, to perform electrolysis and to even purchase an electrolysis machine, as far as I know, you actually need a license from your local authority to do so.
Buy a
Yeah.
machine. To buy a machine, you don't.
I think you do now.
Tusk will
Not
find a way. Tusk will find a way. You don't understand. When Tusk
can
gets
buy the
something into his head,
galvanic
that's it.
You can buy the galvanic ones on eBay for about 60 quid.
I wouldn't trust one of those from eBay. And then again, I wouldn't trust most electrical equipment from eBay.
No, mostly from China.
Phoebe, did you have just your face done, or did you have to go do other parts of your body too?
But I've only had. You're asking if I've had genital electrolysis, and the answer is no.
No, actually, I wasn't.
Because that's also a common
Yeah.
thing that you can have for some forms of lower SRS in trans women.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is also
it's
common
like-
for women even just to have it on their legs.
Yeah. I have, so far, only needed it on my face. Laser has worked it well enough on other parts of my body.
Yeah, I wish
So you've had laser everywhere. You had laser everywhere else.
They hadn't invented lasers yet. Going through it. We barely had telephones, so.
God says buy a razor. Right.
Is another
No.
reason why I wish I could have gone through the transition at an earlier age. Because if I could have done it 15, 20 years ago, then the laser probably would have worked. At this point, too much of the hair's turned white for me to think the laser would have any results.
Why do I always feel weird knowing that I first started this 17 years ago?
How old do you feel? Right, next question. Question 1562.
This better not be about genital surgery.
No.
So, go
Question
ahead.
1000. I've got to start again. Question 1562. Have you ever accidentally revealed a friend's secret?
No.
No.
Next question.
Nope, never.
No,
Next.
how not? Purple?
So you've got 5 no's.
No,
Never. I don't believe any of you.
No.
Okay?
Once.
You've got 5 no's. Move on.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
once-
believe any of you.
Once someone tells me something in confidence, then that's it. That's where it stays. Like I can't.
I've
Well, this is
told
why
my own
accidentally.
secrets accidentally.
No. It's where it stays. I don't like. I've never gotten like pissed drunk, except for like probably once in my life, where like I don't know much of what happened. But other than that, I'm like in my right mind, even when drunk, and I just could not bring myself to actually share something that someone has said to me privately or confidentially. I just can't do it. Mainly because my memory is shit. So if you tell me something, 9 times out of 10, until that subject comes up again, it's gone.
So the only person who hasn't answered this is you, Dave.
I've almost certainly done it.
Okay, next question.
Lone Wanderer says, yes, I feel bad, but loose lips. Natasha, not really. Tusk said, not accidentally. Theo said, I did accidentally reveal secrets I didn't know were a secret. God says, yes, didn't know it was a secret. Read it out as the best man at his wedding.
Oh.
Okay, I have embarrassed people at times by saying things that I didn't know were supposed to be secret.
Fair enough. Fabio, accidentally? No. On purpose? Fuck yes. Dawn Uphead, yes, because sometimes I forget I'm supposed to lie, since I don't do that often. Well, as often as they do. I usually say, if you don't want others to know, don't tell me. Rainbow, I shaved my legs completely. Why are we still about to shaving?
Then don't read the quote out.
I thought he was commenting
you have
on
the power
this.
to read out what you choose, Dave. Do you read these things even momentarily before you start going? Blah,
No, I
blah,
can't. Can't do that anymore. It's really weird. I can't read and think anymore. Not since I lost my memory. Not since the lyric. I have to either stop and read it, or I just read it. So normally I just read it and see what the hell happens. It's easier.
Fair enough.
Right. I think we've got everyone's answer on that. I'm very disappointed in all of you. I'm sure you've all fucked up more than once.
Okay.
You see, I don't have.
No, never.
I don't have many friends, and the friends that I do have, like you do or die for. Do you know what I mean? I've never given out in a way that if someone tells me something confidentially, I just can't.
Well, Dave, if you're so disappointed, you should privately DM each of us one of your secrets, and we can blab them out on the internet so you can be satisfied.
Yes, but then it's not really a secret because he's giving it. He knows that we're going to share it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a secret until we share it, if you know.
And Dave, I'm serious that I have never given away anyone else's, but I have given away some of my own by mistake.
Oh, don't
Forgetting that there was somebody in the area that didn't know it, and now they do. That's pretty uncomfortable.
I've always been pretty much an open book to my friends. I get on with it. I don't really care what you say about me. If you've got a problem with me, it's your fucking problem. Come on.
Yeah.
No, I heard it. I don't know. Right, next question. What time is it? There we go. Right. Question 1563. Do you think the elderly should be valued or cast aside by society?
Neither. They should be treated like human beings.
Was that valued?
No, they should be treated like human beings, like everyone else is. They should just be treated like human beings. You shouldn't place a value on them. You shouldn't cast them aside. You should just treat them like other human beings.
Yeah. Other human beings that don't work in this country are not really treated.
But you haven't asked should society. You just asked if I think.
Okay.
Treat them like humans.
Now, how are we defining elderly here?
I'm assuming it means retired, but I'm so over 65. I'll go with.
I've worked for a carer, so I value everyone. Like,
You value everyone.
I've seen the conditions that the older members of our society have lived in. Like when I came back to Dublin, like because I live in Dublin now again, one of the people who was down beside the guy that I was carer for actually phoned me up like 6 months later or 3 months later, whatever, phoned me up and said, "Will you come back down and be my carer because I have no one?"
No.
Like, that shouldn't be happening. That should not be happening. If you've worked your entire fucking life and you have been productive and you have been valuable to society, that when you are ready to stop, you should be respected out straight. And yes, I will place a little bit of extra value because they are the people who have gotten society to progress as far as it has. Without that previous generation, our generation would not be here.
Yes, I agree.
There is an assumption, though, that society is progressing.
True. Right, wait. I've got to do things because Tusk's going to make me wet myself. God says valued more than others. Tusk says cast aside like dirty rags, and then follows up with the elderly are slow, boring, smell like piss, and are a drain on the world resources. If they can be used as bait for tigers or something, then why not? Nerdy says yes, the elderly should be valued as a food source.
People are now
springy.
Tusk now has it in his head that his whole job is now just triggering Phoebe. That is his entire job in this chat.
Well, I think for me, it does go back to treating them like people.
Yeah.
It has to be taken on an individual basis. There are some of them that deserve some respect and dignity, and there are some of them that are just assholes to everyone, so screw them.
Well, I've seen it both ways because I've seen people forced to retire at 65 when they want to continue working. I've seen people... because in farming, a lot of the workplace relations it is just thrown out the window. So I have seen 70, 75-year-olds who have no business working and are literally going to break a hip the next time they fall down. They shouldn't be working. And they should have the option there to be respected. And the problem that I have is just treat them like any other human. There are particular needs that older folks, when you get to a certain level of life, that they need, and
but the problem
most of society don't need that thing. So the idea of putting extra supports in.
Yes, but that's treating them like humans, though. You wouldn't deny somebody access to what they required if you were treating them like human beings.
Have you seen Society lately?
I'm not talking about society here. I am not a representation of society.
We don't care about humans. It's horrible.
I don't care about society, but that's slightly different.
Well, Roger Waters, he calls them on the final. He calls them overgrown infants because as they get older, they lose their hair, their teeth, their mind, go back in diapers. They become cute again. You wear all knitted wear, like a little baby, but a big baby. Unless you're a big fat slob like Donald Trump and wear a diaper throughout life anyway. He just...
Ox says Tusk. Ox says Tusk. The way you younger generations are going, they won't make it to be elderly.
Yep. I like the Lone Wanderer.
You gotta realize that you're saying all these things in front of somebody who's over 65 and partially disabled.
Which is why I think this is why this should be treated like people.
You're
not different. Yeah. This is the point.
But extra supports has to be there like that. And it doesn't happen. It's shit. Shit.
Yeah.
Engage with humanity and be humanitarian towards people and treat them like humans and do assessments on their needs and then be a human and treat those needs with the person. But on an individual basis, treat everybody like an individual and treat everybody like a human. Don't be an arsehole just because somebody's elderly. Don't be an arsehole just because somebody's young. Don't be an arsehole just because somebody's got brown hair. Don't be an arsehole just because they're a woman.
Agreed.
I had that government.
The reality is
the reality may be different, but that wasn't the question.
That's the thing. This is the thing. Ascariot says it perfectly. I honestly don't see that society's got much respect for children or honour for the elderly.
No, because they're different. Right, so speaking, I'm putting my sociologist hat on. I'm sorry. Speaking as a sociologist, there's three groups who have very, very little representation. Okay, so when you go into the workforce, you have trade unions, you're able to collective bargain. The elderly, children, and the unemployed don't have that. They don't have those basic supports. So unless there's, like, over here we have age action, and they usually will bring up to the government, this is what older people, the extra supports that older people need.
Our government's worked out how to abuse that and fuck them up.
Yeah.
So,
but that's why they're vulnerable groups in society, and they're the easiest ones to target.
What did Lone Wanderer say? Doing away with the elderly is a trope of sci-fi. There are some cultures where the elderly are cast out. No. So we're blaming. So are we blaming old folk for the shit show we're in now? Fair enough. If people in the 60s used birth control, we wouldn't be knee deep in human. Not convinced. I think a lot. No, I disagree. The problem is, I have a massive problem with arbitrary ages as well. But
Yeah.
what it is all these younger folk think they know this world and want to push their way to the top without earning it. Anyone got anything to add before we run away from this horrible question?
Yeah, all you people in the chat who are saying these horrible, nasty things about disabled older people, fuck you.
Agreed.
Most of them are taking the piss.
It's not even something you should be goddamn joking about. Because when you get to that point, and everybody suddenly treats you as a completely irrelevant human being, even in your own community.
Do you know, I went to Cuba once, right? I went to Cuba and I asked that very question, like, what is it? What do you do when you have an elderly person whose family is all gone or whatever? Because we tend to throw them into centers, these horrible homes, and forget about them, and it's horrible. And they actually said, we don't know what you're talking about, because usually what happens in Cuba is half because a lot of people are not allowed to leave, half because it's just the culture there. But your family is surrounding you. And what happens is, if they're not there, the neighbors take turns either going to your house or you go to their house, and they'll have like dinner parties with like 3 different families. So no elderly person is ever left on their own. And if you need your roof retiled, there are 3-4 families ready to re-roof the house, because they'll do it as a community.
Yeah.
And that was alien to me.
We have broken our sense of community. Everything, both in America and the UK.
Well, and realistically, I expect I'm going to wind up in that situation eventually, because I'm fairly sure that barring an accident, I'm going to outlive everyone I know.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Like, people should be allowed to live their lives right through on their own terms.
Right, next question. Penultimate question, isn't it?
You okay, Jenny?
No.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Question 1564. What is in your hip flask? Scotch.
I don't have a hip flask.
If you did.
Whiskey. Any particular type of whiskey? Most likely Jameson Black Barrel. Hell yeah.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. See, dog knows.
I was going to say Irish whiskey, like a Jameson Black Barrel. I'm going to have to change it.
You have to change it now. What would you have as an alternative?
Fanta.
Fanta.
Lone Wanderer says bourbon. Sandy says don't own one. African Humanist says nothing. Nerdy says whiskey. It's always whiskey in the hip flask, 20 years aged. Did you never drink it then?
Top Jersey milk.
What?
Yeah.
It'll go off.
Gold. Doesn't matter. It wouldn't last long enough. It would be near something kept cool to retain its coolness, and it would be gold top, full cream, Jersey, cow milk.
Yeah, the problem is if it's in a hip flask, you're wearing it on your hip, so it's likely to come up to body temperature or at least room temperature.
Yeah, but that's what in a perfect world. That's what I would have.
And walking with it, it'll chain it to butter anyway.
There you go. Get free butter.
Let's use Dom.
My choice would be Balvenie Double Wood.
Mm-hmm.
Good choice.
12 years old rum. There is never enough rum. Anyhow says rhubarb cordial. I'm at work. Tusk said I have my own recipe I call Bon Scott. It's rum, bourbon, single malt, and a splash of absinthe. Nerdy says full cream, 70% alcohol. Ox says Wisnowaka, Polish cherry brandy type booze.
Wisnowska.
What?
Wisnowska.
Yes, maybe. No, there's no other S.
Wisnowska.
Wisnowka.
Yeah.
Not seeing how it's spelled.
Ricardo says double oak bourbon. If you have a hip flask, you're an alcoholic. No.
There's no requirement to keep alcoholic drinks in your hip flask. It's just custom.
Purple.
Oh, well, I think everybody knows I'm fond of the Canadian whiskey.
Canadian whiskey?
Yeah.
Do they even call it whiskey?
Oh, yeah. No, there's some good Canadian blends.
If I couldn't have the milk, I'd have maple syrup instead.
It's very sickly to take a swig on.
You're assuming that it would be for me to take a swig on. It would just be so that when I ever sat down and had something.
Maple syrup, taking a swig of maple syrup is a wonderful thing. You should
It
try
can be. It really can be. Just a swig of maple syrup and
Proper
or if you're
sugar
getting
buzz.
maple syrup fresh from the tree.
Sugar buzz.
Yep. I've actually done that with my uncle, collecting the sap from the trees for him to make syrup.
Oof. Dave,
Yeah.
you haven't answered.
No, I don't have a good answer. Maybe water? I mean, if I went alcoholic, it'd probably be schnapps. I used to be able to drink that all day.
Schnapps.
Schnapps.
Schnapps. Schnapps. Schnapps. What a card
Schnapps.
game.
One of my uncles always used to carry a flask of peppermint schnapps with him.
I'm not keen on peppermint. But I quite like banana schnapps.
And if I couldn't get scotch, I'd do gin. Bombay.
I don't think I've ever drunk gin.
Oh, I have. We opened up a new.
Oh, you were going to start with we there.
Yeah, we down where I used to live, we opened up a new gin distillery. I was the tester.
Did you walk? Do you remember?
It was a great job.
You're supposed to use a Caspador when you're testing alcoholic beverages.
But if you test enough is absorbed through the cheeks.
It's the argument somebody once tried to make. I don't know how true this is, but I saw it fictionalized. That they tried to argue that breathalyzers over the course of their use become less and less reliable because each time somebody breathes into the machine, droplets of alcohol are left from the breath into the machine. So over time it will build up. So even if somebody who has had no alcohol may read a positive test because of the build-up of droplets within the machine. I don't know how true that is.
Except it's not measuring the alcohol, it's measuring the metabolites of alcohol in your breath.
Yeah, but that was the argument for the unreliability of alcohol breathometers.
I'm very disappointed. I have never drunk and drove, and I've only once been breathalyzed. I mean, I used to drive around Bristol in the middle of the night and never got pulled over and breathalyzed. That really annoyed me.
Hey, wait. Oh, whoa. Right. Let me tell you something about Bristol.
Bristol's lovely. It is the best city in the world.
I met the town crier of Swindon, right?
In Bristol?
Yeah, no, wait.
The
I meant-
town crier of Swindon.
Yes.
Roundabout
And
Central.
wait for it. Wait for
Twinned
it.
with Disney World.
I did not know these things existed, right? I didn't
I
know
was
town
going to
criers
say,
were
I
a
didn't
thing.
know anyone had a town crier
Right.
within the
Oh,
last
we've got
100
loads
years.
of town criers.
So I'm in this. I'm in Swindon, and I'm like novelty of meeting a town crier, and he was like, "Yeah, I make cider." When he's not being a town crier, he makes cider, right? So he was like, "Oh, you and your friend should come," because my friend was from Swindon. And she was like, "Okay, yeah, let's go. I know where you live. We'll go over right." Fucking tons. Like there was about 40 people there from Swindon going to this like little tasting of his fucking cider. He gives me 2 bottles, and I'm going home the next day. I rock up to fucking Bristol Airport with these 2 big bottles, and I mean they're fucking 2-liter bottles of cider, right? And security is just like, okay. The town crier of Swindon took a day off so he could come down to Bristol Airport with me to say, I made them, they're good, let her go. I walked through security with the fucking, with the bottles. And that's how much Bristol values security.
No, but it's not just Bristol. If you did that at any airport in the UK, you would get the same response.
No. London?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? No. You wouldn't get that in London.
Wait, Tusk has a piece of factual information. I'm disturbed. Right, he says that's almost correct. A breathalyzer only becomes ineffective if the tube isn't changed between tests and only with the same person and within a few minutes. And Fabio says, was it Dickens cider?
I can't remember. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It was just these 2 big, large, like fucking. Do you know the 2-liter bottles of Coke?
Yep.
But like emptied out and cider in them. Like there was no label. There was no label on these things, and yeah, he just rocked up. Bristol Airport is tiny, by the way. And I was like taking it. It's like Cork Airport. It's fucking tiny. But yeah, they all know each other, and he's like, "Yeah, I made them. It's cool. She's good to go. Let her through." And I just it was so alien to me having gone, because every time I went before that to the UK, it was through London.
Which
and
London
they're
airport?
either Heathrow or Stansted, and both are very
Stansted
kind of
is not London. Stansted is Essex. That's not real London.
It's considered London. It's considered London
may
for
call
the
itself
purposes.
London.
Yeah, for the purposes of this, the airport is London. It's considered a London airport. Thank
Like
you,
saying-
Ryan.
Oh, yeah, London Air. Yeah,
Airport.
you know what else they consider a London airport?
Luton,
London-
Gatwick.
That was
Neither of them are London.
But you know what I mean? So I've always gone into the UK through London, if you can consider them London. And they're very, very strict. They're very strict in those 2 airports particularly. So going to Bristol, I was not prepared for how chill it is.
The West Country is used to being pissed.
Now, okay, back with the whole thing of tasters. This is a question that came to my mind the other night because, it was brought up that Jack Daniels is distilled in a dry county.
Yes.
Okay, so what about the taster? Does he have to drive the samples out of the county in order to taste them?
No, he doesn't
You
consume
may-
them. His class is not consuming them.
You may get dispensation in the rules and regs.
I will. To me, I don't think Jack Daniels has tasters, and that's why it tastes so fucking bad.
Right, Fabio
Yeah,
wants...
it's not a brand I'm particularly fond of.
I've got to do
Tennessee
this.
sour ash.
Yeah, Sloth Girl keeps a bottle around to toast her departed father because that was his brand. So on his birthday every year we have it.
Apparently dry county just means you can't buy it. Right, Fabio wants me to reiterate this. He finds it funny that Crafty doesn't know if she's had Dickens cider.
Thanks for that double entendre. Yeah. I don't know if that particular brand was yeah, fuck off.
I love a good cider, and it's been years since I've found a good one.
Ruar.
Do you know, I used to do I used to work the festivals during the summers just for charities or whatever.
Festivals, summer.
Yeah, and yeah. So I was on the Heineken tents, and of course Heineken brought out. So at the end of your shift, so you're working a 6-hour shift. Instead of getting paid, it goes to the group that you were with. I was with the abortion rights campaign, and so all my wages was going to pro-choice groups. And so at the end of your shift, you're given a choice of either 2 pints of Heineken or 2 pints of Orchard Thieves. Now I don't know if you've ever tasted Orchard Thieves.
No,
but
but
it's
I've tasted Heineken, and pretty much anything could be better.
It's shit. Yeah. So what I did was I jumped onto the Prosecco bar, and I was very good at upselling the Prosecco, and I would just take a bottle of Prosecco at the end of the night. It was fucking brilliant.
Speaking of the Abortion Rights Ireland campaign,
Yes.
I am currently in the process of making a cake designed for Abortion Rights Ireland. And it's going to be delivered to somebody in Bristol, and they're going to do something on stream with this cake.
Nice.
Because it relates to a show that takes place on a Monday.
You can't say.
Cool.
I can, but I'm not going to, because it's much more fun if it's a lot more cryptic.
I am so confused.
It's supposed to be. That's the whole point of why I've just said it the way that I have. It was intentionally designed to be as confusing as possible.
Tell me. I'm sad. Tell me. Yeah. When we're off camera, you have to tell me, because
when
I'll
we're off
definitely
camera, because
right,
you need to be part of the privileged group to understand it. The people who aren't in this privileged group won't be able to get the inside scoop on the skinny here.
Okay, I can deal with that.
Right, next question, penultimate question. Question 1565. Have you ever saved someone's reputation by not telling your side of the story?
Yes.
I've never saved anyone's reputation in my life. Destroyed many a reputation, destroyed my own. Never even saved my own reputation. The assumption that I've even got a reputation to save at this point.
You've always got a reputation to save.
Oh yeah. I've got a real reputation to save. If you check out some of the stuff on my channel, I really don't have a reputation to save.
Sandy says, multiple times, I regret every time.
It depends. Like, I've done it once or twice. Usually I'm very, 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 very outspoken, for anyone who's seen my channel who knows that. And it depends. You have to pick your battles. So there have been times where I've decided, like, it's easy for me to just tear someone down. I don't like doing it. Depends on what exactly the behavior is. Like, if they're being manipulative for and it's dangerous to people, then absolutely I will tear them down. And I will be very, very honest and tell my side of the story. But there has to be times where you just say, you know what, it's not worth the hassle. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. I've done that a few times.
Cryptomirius says, yes, I am damn well doing it now, and I'm almost at my end. Ricardo says, is this related to sleeping with someone I really didn't want to? No. Nerdy says someone else. Scapegoat says, I work for an individual owner appliance salesperson. It was my job to do so every day. That ended 4 years ago, and it still turns my stomach. I don't get that. Dog!
I'm just going to do the same as what Keela said. To be fair, you do have to pick your battles, regardless of what the incident is, or and fuck some people anyway. If it's going to save me, look after number one.
Question is though, who is number 0?
Repeat the question.
Have you ever saved someone's reputation by not telling your side of the story?
And people will always try to throw you under the bus. It depends on whether or not you're going to fucking throw them under the bus for doing it. And again, some issues just they're not worth it. They're not worth it.
Is there an assumption that buses are still going to exist for that metaphor to make any sense?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I want to know what they're going to do with the icons on phones.
What?
It's very vague. Icons on phones.
You've got the telephone one. The telephone one looks like an old receiver.
Yes.
The mail one looks like a fucking envelope. I've seen kids ask what the fuck they are.
But here's the thing, though. When you said icons on phones, I didn't necessarily jump to the emoticons or the emojis. I was
They're
more
not
thinking down the
emojis,
line.
they're icons.
Shush. I was more thinking along the lines of, religious icons, and I'm thinking, what the bloody hell you got icons like from Greek Orthodox Christianity on your
Came
phone?
out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere.
You mean like Jesus holding a phone?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, something like that. Why Jesus says a Borgia holding a phone, maybe?
I mean, they're not going to get that anymore. Then no one's going to understand that.
Well, that's a good question, and there's a lot of things more than that. I mean,
Is this now the final question or something? 'Cause we
words.
kind
No,
of
not yet.
deviated from the original question.
Phone
Well,
booth.
I think it's kind of a form of modern hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
That the symbol represents this thing, even if the current generation has no idea what the symbol originally was.
Yeah, here's a task. You should hand somebody who is a Gen Zer an old telephone with a dial that you have to do that.
Have you
on.
seen the videos?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Phoebe and Keela, have you ever been in a phone booth?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever used... Wait. Have you ever used a phone in a phone booth?
Yes.
Different over there. Here, there's
Define use a phone.
where.
Have you ever used the payphone?
Define use it. Like,
I have made an outbound call to a payphone.
Not
with a
having
speaker
sex
call.
up against it.
no. Could you actually use a payphone when they made it so fucking complicated?
I was actually in the situation in one of my former relationships that during a power outage found out that her 12-year-old daughter had no idea how to use a manual can opener.
Oh, for fuck's sake. No, like, all right. So we had payphones all over Ireland, and there used to be one still working when I was a kid up at the top of my estate. Why the fuck it was there in the middle of fucking nowhere?
That's where phones were meant to be.
Yeah. So we used it for hanging out in thunderstorms, like to get out of the thunderstorm for some reason.
You went into the metal box.
Metal and
We thought that
glass.
was we thought that was a good idea. But what you would have to do was you would have to put your coin in, and if it took the coin, 9 times out of 10 it would spit the coin back out at you.
Yep.
Then you would have to put #*9 and then
What?
put the fucking number in.
Now, here's the
Nothing
question. When Ireland switched over to euros, did it still only take Irish punts?
Yeah. I have, do you know what? I have a collection of Irish punt. I have a collection of all of the coins and all of the notes.
Tusk says, I used to rob payphones with a car jack when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You were a good kid, weren't you?
Oh, the fucking
What,
angel,
say
this
that
little
on
prick.
the
How
internet?
long do you think we're going to continue to refer to shooting video on your phone as videotaping it or filming it?
Yeah, video.
It's one of
tape.
those things that has the definition has now become wider to include the general act of taking motion picture capture on a telephonic device.
Do you remember when we talked earlier about like veering off course so
Yep.
far from the actual question?
Right, tell me what Tusk said. This
No,
is what
no, we don't care anymore what Tusk has
We
said.
do.
Tusk may as well just be on this panel. For
There's
goodness
somebody
sakes.
out there. There's somebody out there right now who still gets tea and sympathy when they say my name because I kept my mouth shut and didn't expose them for the lying, scheming little shit they are.
Yep, I know that feeling. Know that feeling well.
I've completely
Okay.
forgotten what the original question was, so I don't have any idea what he's on about.
Well,
What
as
is
far as the phone booth, this one is still standing.
Your phone booths are weird. I can't show it purple.
Oh, you can't. Okay. Yeah, but in the next town over from where I lived in Michigan, yeah, just on the street corner, there is still a full glass phone booth.
There's
What was
one up here as a
folding door that you push to open.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the bifold door.
Yeah.
I used to
Have you
do-
seen the bit in the Blues Brothers where the woman blows up the phone booth with Jake and Elwood in it, and they just get scattered with all this money around them because the phone booth shoots up into the air?
I used to really like the phone booths that were at fancy hotels. They were always, made of completely of wood and natural wood, not even painted. And they were always more spacious and cozy and had a vent fan. And you went into them and you closed the door and it was dead silent. It was just, you couldn't hear anything. It was neat.
If you go on a tour of Aldwych Station in London, which is one of the abandoned underground stations, there are ladies' cloakrooms, and then there is a row of payphones that are still operational today that are used in emergency situations on the London Underground.
Mm-hmm.
A row?
Yes.
Why do you need a row?
Because there used to be many people that in the 1920s
Panic.
would go into there and go, hello. And so guess what? They've just kept the row, and they've kept the row going.
Fair
The
enough.
station closed in 1994 when payphones were still widely used, and the mobile brick was not widely used.
Mobile brick.
Well, I remember payphones when the slot said 1 pence and 2 pence.
Now, who here used a BT card instead of using money?
Yeah.
Pay your phone card when you put the card in the slot.
I had a phone card that I kept so long it became completely useless.
Became obsolete.
I had $20 on it.
It's like, who here still has an Oyster card if you in the UK and have been to London?
Oyster card?
I still have one from when I used to travel to London.
I don't.
Now
Why-
you just use your mobile phone, or you just use a credit card.
Ooh, I need to download that then.
Contactless on your phone, or contactless on your plastic credit or debit card.
It's the last time I was in London, I was going to a concert in Wembley with my sister. She
Who were
just
you going
turned
to see?
she just turned 30, and she'd been going through a lot with her ex. So one of her biggest fanatic things at the time was Ed Sheeran. So I brought her to see Ed Sheeran, and weirdly enough, coincidentally enough, because she had just turned 30, and at the same time, like a couple of months previous to that, he played in Dublin, one of his smallest gigs like ever since blowing up, in Whelan's. And I managed to get tickets to it. I don't know how the fuck. But so we went to see him at his smallest gig, and we went to see him at his biggest gig. And that was her Christmas present. And her birthday present.
Gigs in London. The first proper gig I went to was the Hammersmith Apollo when I went to see Slipknot. And it was
Nice.
Good night, that one.
They're good live. They're good live.
They are excellent live.
They're good live.
So are the Who,
What was your
HU,
first-
not
what
as
was
in
your first concert?
WHO.
I have a question. It's the point of the show. Who's answered this question? 'Cause
Me.
I've
We all
lost
have.
track. Have you all?
Yes, we all have. This is why we're just deviating, because
I
you haven't
don't
kept us
remember what the
on
original question was, so I don't know if I answered
something to do
it
with
or not.
reputational analysis or something.
Have you ever saved someone's reputation by not telling your side of the story?
Okay, I don't think I actually answered it.
Go
That, yeah, there have been instances, and basically for me it was a question of, was it actually going to do any harm to anyone? So, if there was some, something that they had done, but there really wasn't any victim involved, I just kind of blew it off and didn't say anything.
Anyone else answered?
Yes, I've done it.
You haven't.
Yes, of course I have. Right, last question.
Well, thank goodness for that.
It's only gonna
Wasn't
take
the
another
last
hour.
question wasn't the last question like 2 questions ago? But okay.
That was the penultimate question 2 questions ago, and then he slotted another one in.
Question 1566. Would you rather be as flexible as a cat or as strong as a bull?
Flexible as a cat.
People know I'm part cat, so I'll always go with the cat.
Yeah, I would go with the flexibility because I've always depended a lot more on my agility. Strength, if you understand some physics, you can usually compensate for it.
Here.
Here, here.
Dog?
Probably a cat. You can squeeze through little gaps and jump high.
Puck says strong as a bull.
Could I
Not sure.
Could I choose a ferret instead of a cat?
No, the flexibility is what's important. It's not like you turn into the cat.
Oh, well then, I mean, if you can't turn into the cat, what's the point in this question?
Well, and if you have the flexibility of a cat, there's much less issue if you have to go a long time without dating.
You have the flexibility of a ferret, though. You can turn
I'm
yourself
with
into
Jenny.
a balloon animal.
Yeah.
I'm with Jenny all the way. Let's get the ferrets out. Let's get the ferrets out.
Tusk says, I'd be a bull and go around kicking the fuck out of cats. I don't like cats.
Well, you don't like anything, Tusk, so nah.
Badger says, flexible, I need to clean under my bed. Theo says, strong as a bull. Badger says, ferrets are clumsy as fuck. They can't keep track of their back and front legs at the same time.
No, but they can run through those tube things and stuff.
You can't... Can cats not run through tubes?
They can. There are
No.
tubes designed
would-
specifically for cats.
A cat would get to the tube and say, "Duh."
Yeah.
Not me.
It's the noise.
But
It's the noisy
actually,
tubes.
a cat could do it. That basically, they can flatten out most of their skeleton if they need to.
Yes.
So
Yes,
pretty
they
much
can.
for a cat, anything they can fit their head through, they can get through.
That's the same for a dog.
Mm,
Dogs do not
Um,
have that ability at all.
Tusk said, actually, I'm strong as fuck anyway. I'm going to find a cat back soon.
yeah. No, I wouldn't want to be as strong as a bull. Mainly because I'll tell you why as well. People would want you to do shit.
I
I'm
think
lazy.
if you were that flexible, people would want you to do other sorts of shit.
No, well, okay.
Like
So
a
you
girl
can
with drag race
hide.
and do some splits and some twerking and some
You
voguing.
can, no. You can hide flexibility. You can't hide strength. So as soon as people know that you're strong, that's it. They want you to do shit. And no, I'm out.
I'd go for
Yeah.
flexibility just so I could have sex with myself.
See, Jenny knows priorities right here.
Yeah,
Jenny from the
I
block,
think
you
Crafty is right. I think if you were strong as a bull, that you would have the same kind of thing of being the only one who owns a pickup truck when people need to move.
Just don't have a pickup truck. Puck
Like
says,
the
see,
podcast.
that's why I wouldn't want to be flexible as a cat. When am I ever going to need to contort to that degree? Broken Crafty.
Well, I think the flexibility of a cat is getting into the question you had on a previous show of would you have sex with yourself?
On that note,
Yes, I think on that note we can go.
Oh, good show, lads. Good show.
Okay.
I've had fun. We made it through.
We made it through.
goodness for that.
To the chat that I said "fuck you" to, I don't really mean that, but be a little more sensitive to elderly, please.
Here, here.
We need your support.
I'm going to say, make sure you all
Yep.
subscribe to these people.
Well, people do have to keep in mind that if you're lucky, you will be old one day yourself.
Yes.
I've doubts.
We are all only temporarily abled.
Yes. Can I just read out Bad Temper Badger? He says, I once saw a ferret panic as it tried to run on a stack of papers. Papers were everywhere.
That would be fun to watch.
Yeah, cartoonesque. Right, does anyone have anything to shill?
Yes, I always have stuff to shill. Why do you think I agreed to come onto your show in the first place? It's not a free ride. You don't get me for free.
Phoebe, but you're so much fun.
Of course I'm so much fun. That's part of my allure and my charm.
You have a law and charm?
Well, people that I interview say that I have allure and charm.
Well, when am I going to be on your show?
Send me a direct message and I'll put you on Friday if you like.
Oh, I've sent you a message on Twitter. I can.
Are you sure you're sending it to the right Phoebe?
Phoebe J. Rose.
If that would be me. Well, send me another message tonight and I'll get you on the show on Friday. I have a slot on Friday if you want it.
I think I can do Friday.
Then you're on.
Okay.
We'll agree a time, and Dave will be in the chat with his blue spanner because he's regularly a spanner. So there's no change there.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Friday's guest is now Jenny. So on Transition Stories this Friday, as announced here first, Jenny will be interviewed by Phoebe on Transition Stories on my YouTube channel, Season 1, Episode 4.
You're at a disadvantage. You're not called Hamilton.
This is true. The first 2 guests were called Hamilton.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have nothing to do with Hamilton.
Very disappointing. Phoebe, what else have you got to shill?
Check out my YouTube channel. Check out my Twitter. I'm just generally wonderful. Check out everything I do.
She really needs more subs at the moment. She doesn't have half of this community.
Yeah, I don't think I have you on Twitter.
Do you not? She's in my group if you need to find her.
Phoebe, Purple is somebody you should get on your show, because Purple's right in the early stages of cracking the egg and getting going. It'd be an interesting progression over,
I do plan on doing follow-up interviews in like 2 years' time with the people in Series 1. So when I'm on like Series 6 or something, we'll have revisits in Series 1. So we'll have the revisits Series 1, where I hope to get all the people again in the same order, but like 2 years later. Where are they now?
Yeah.
Well, just on shilling stuff.
You want to be on my show too?
I'm cis. I'm definitely cis. So at I think it's Monday. I'm releasing the new Challenging Conspiracies on mythical creatures and why people follow the idea of mythical creatures, why they will devote their lives to finding these mythical creatures, and why it's so important to them.
Bigfoot.
So that'll be coming out, I think, Monday. Sunday I have my regular weekly show between myself and Steaming Cup of Reason, Life on the Flip Side, because I live in the UK, well, I live in Ireland, and he lives in Vietnam. So it's
did you just
I know
UK and Ireland are the same thing.
Did you just admit that Ireland is part of the UK?
No.
She did. Well, I'm assuming the pronoun
UK time, UK time. We're on BST.
Sorry.
That's what I meant. So, so Life on the Flip Side is on Sunday on Steaming Cup of Reason's channel this week, and then Friday 2 weeks, the 6th of. Wait, we're in July now. August.
Yes.
6th of August.
July, August, September.
My brain is so like I fell asleep right before the show.
You spent 2 hours on this show. Of course, you're going to be slightly addled.
Yeah.
And you should be
so on the 6th, Friday 2 weeks, I have Ion Society coming back, and we will be looking at what is free speech, what it is, what it isn't, the history of it, and like looking sociologically at the topic. Not.
I feel I should have muted her at that point.
So yes.
If you want me on your channel at any point, I'm happy to come on your channel. So
absolutely.
Shilling myself. Yeah. drop me a link, or drop me something on the Twitter or on whatever medium you use to contact me. If you're using an actual medium to contact me, I would like some proof that this medium
Crafty
is
doesn't
genuine.
do Twitter. He does Discord.
I don't.
You do Discord?
I do Discord. Yeah.
Well, join the Takis Discord. I'm regularly in the Takis Discord.
Cool.
Do you have any idea what the Takis Discord is? She's in my Discord.
We definitely need to talk.
You have a Discord? Ooh.
You not in my Discord.
I didn't even know. By me going, ooh, you have a Discord. Do you think I'm in the Discord that I go, ooh, you have a Discord?
I didn't know you had a Discord.
What?
Yeah,
See?
look at you. Look at you, Dave. Look. Anyway, that's me. That's
you. I'll get a link to it there. Purple.
Yeah, nothing special, just my regular chats Wednesday at noon and Thursdays at midnight, U.S. Central Time.
Very good. Dog.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Kevin Sorbo to sort out a video. It's hard to be nice to him in emails when you want him to read something out, because the man is a massive felon.
He really is.
But yeah, but I want him to. I'm asking him to read something out, and he's on an hour about it.
He
So I'm
admitted to
hoping
being
he'll-
involved from Dirty Monkey Men today.
Well, he's already taken my money, the cunt. So he can fucking
Do
he
it.
can fucking read out what I said. He's on an hour, and that's going to be used every week as a thing on my channel.
Excellent.
Well, when if he gets round to it, I've almost got the intro done, or a friend is doing it for me, and an outro,
Superb.
and then the Gospel according to Dog will have it mentioned.
Out.
It's augmented, or his first ever showing, which will probably just
Superb.
be a video, and then hopefully we'll get live and it'll be like this, and we'll just rewrite the Bible. That's not going to upset anyone, is it?
A new Gospel of Trump. I should point out as well, the Puck's got a new channel. Ox put the link in earlier. You should subscribe to Puck.
Puck
He
should
doesn't.
subscribe to me as well. Puck, I know you're listening to me. Subscribe to me.
I don't even know if Puck is subscribed to me, so...
Puck, subscribe to all 6 of us here, or we will come and find you in whatever state you are currently residing in the United States.
Puck had 43 or 44 subs when I was there.
I know, I subbed a minute ago. Right. Thank you very much all for coming.
Thank you.
It was wonderful. We missed this.
Dave,
It was fun.
as ever, it's a pleasure. Not sure it's a pleasure of everyone else, but I find it a pleasure.
I say thank you to Phoebe, to Dog, to Jenny, to Purple, and to Crafty. And thank you to everyone in the chat. We will see you all next Tuesday, hopefully.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.